How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Many of you have asked me to do more credit card reviews on travel credit cards so that you can maybe travel for free or whatnot using all the points. The reason I haven't been doing much of those credit card reviews is because my spending level isn't that high, and I actually would not purposely increase my spending level just to meet the minimum requirements of these cards. Before you go, oh, BeatTheBush doesn't go anywhere, he just likes to stay home. I have done my fair share of travel, and here's a list of places I've been. I've been to Taiwan, Caribbean, Korea, Hong Kong, Singapore, Kobe, Tokyo, Shanghai, Mexico, Hawaii, New Zealand, Australia. So I did all that traveling before and got it out of my system, and maybe it's not enough traveling for some people actually. For me, I think it's a good amount, so nowadays when I look at traveling, I think of more of all the treacherous flying I have to do. You have to stay in the airplane, you have to sleep in a chair, and having the really dry air is just kind of like a pain that you have to suffer through in order to get to your destination. So in light of all this pain, the jet lag and stuff, I don't exactly look forward to it all that much, although I do like the destination. So these days, I really rather maybe one day be able to go somewhere for much longer than just 1 week, maybe for a month even. The main thing I don't like about these travel credit cards, especially the Chase Sapphire Reserve, is that you have a time limit of when to spend your travel credits. Chase Sapphire Reserve have a $300 travel credit per year. Well, it's basically you use it or lose it. So if I happen to not really want to go anywhere for that year, then I basically lose that credit. So if I were to have that card, then I would be like, oh gosh, I really need to make sure I go somewhere this year. This is as opposed to if I find somewhere organically, I go, oh, maybe I want to go there. And if I really want to go there, I might not time it exactly so that I go within 1 year. I go whenever I feel like it. The second aspect is that these minimum spend requirements might actually make you spend more. The Chase Sapphire Reserve requires a $4,000 within 3 months. This is $1,333 per month. If you're spending outside of rent or mortgage, as well as the things that you cannot charge to your credit card, adds up to be $1,300. I'd say that's a pretty high spend rate. So at least for me, I cannot easily meet that $1,300 because I think my spend rate on a credit card, it might go close to something like $500 a month for everything. Usually for people that cannot spend $4,000 in 3 months, you might use your normal spending in there and try to fill it up with other stuff. Maybe like, oh, maybe it's a time to buy a laptop at the time. Maybe I'll buy a fancy camera. You have to think if it's actually making you spend more earlier in time versus if you don't have that card at all. Maybe you'll delay getting a laptop later on. Maybe you'll get like the expensive item later on. Actually, the later on you get something, the less money you're spending because it's actually like an average cost over time thing. The earlier you spend something, the more you're spending. Another aspect I notice is about choice. Usually through these programs, you can extend the value of your points. For example, for the City Thank You Premiere that I had, going through their portal, I noticed that if I look at any of the hotels, it was roughly about 25% more than the cheapest if I went to those travel websites and tried to look at a similar hotel. So me spending the points through their portal gets me 25% more. However, it just kind of negates itself. So this is the card itself. The first year annual fee was free. The second year I actually ended up paying $95 because I wanted to extend the time at which I can use this card. From my calculations, keeping it another year was actually worth it. It was actually making me more than the $95, so I'm like, oh man, yeah, okay, I'll do it just because I'm gonna get more. But the $95 annual fee has been bothering me quite a bit. It's gonna be up in about 2 months, and I can't imagine what it'll be like to have a Chase Sapphire Reserve and then you always have that $300 sitting in there burning a hole in your pocket. You're like, oh, I gotta get rid of it. I gotta go and use that. This $300 is a ticking time bomb because you paid $450 for the annual fee. It's kind of like you put cash into it and it's gonna evaporate if you don't use that credit in time. Sort of like those entertainment coupon books, right? You pay a lot, you really have to spend more in order to get the value out. So this is kind of like the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. You paid $450 in it. You better go and use that $300 travel credit, and then you better use up that 50,000 points in order to get the value out. So if you add everything up, yes, you do get an advantage, but you also need to step back and go, hey, did it make me spend more money if I didn't have that credit card? If you didn't have it, would you do the same exact thing? Now, if you answer yourself, yeah, I was gonna go travel anyway. I was gonna go to Greece or Italy or something. Then sure, by all means, use the credit card. The best way is if you have something planned and you know you're gonna go somewhere that you wanna do this year, and maybe at the same time you have a large purchase coming up that you can meet the minimum spend requirements, then that would be a perfect time to get one of these cards, possibly pay the fee, meet the minimum requirements, and then you have a bunch of points, and then you can buy your ticket with these points, and then you can just chain them all up exactly, and it won't actually make you spend more if you time it right. So that's it for my spiel of travel credit cards. It's not that I'm not gonna go travel. If in the future I do travel, I might actually just get one of these credit cards. It's just the way you think about it. Don't forget to give me a like on this video, comment down below. Let me know if you got one of these credit cards and it actually made you spend more in order to meet the minimum requirements. If you're interested in supporting this channel, I have an Audible link down in the video description below where you can get a free audiobook, and if you cancel before the trial period ends, you can still keep the book and you can still help benefit this channel. Of course, if you try out this audiobook and you actually like it, well, keep it. Don't forget to check out my Patreon over here and subscribe. Thanks for watching.